What's happening? Well, I'm back. I know I missed last week. I apologize. I had some events taking place that prevented me from completing a video. I didn't have a lot to go over anyways, so this is just going to be another update here, fairly short and sweet on what's going on in my tank with the cyano. I have managed to get the nitrates using the Neo Nitro. I have managed to get that back up. As you can see, I'm going to give you kind of a couple pictures of a few things I've added to the tank here, and I'll go over them here in a little bit. And then I'm going to also give you kind of a picture and a little talk of what's going on in the tank. And then we'll go from there. I'm trying something new on the tank here. We'll go over that when we get further in the video. So let's get into it. All right, so you can see here I have Neo Nitro. That's what I'm going to be using to raise the nitrates in the tank. I ordered this here. Brightwell, they should probably pay me because it seems like I follow Brightwell's products pretty closely. This is where my nitrates currently are at 0. You've seen that in the previous test. That hasn't changed. I wish it did, then I wouldn't be buying these other products, but I'm going to start dosing this here to try to get it up to a better level. See if I can maintain it there to the 5.0 ppm level. Right around that category is what I'm looking for. And then once we get to that point, we'll see if we can hold it there. But once again, the product here, Neo Nitro, this is just one of the things that I've added to the tank to try and balance things out, because I do have a plan here on using hydrogen peroxide to try and eliminate the cyanobacteria. It's something I've been reading about. I don't know if it's going to be beneficial or not. We'll find out. Hopefully, it is beneficial. Hopefully, it does eliminate the cyanobacteria. We'll find out here as we go, but this is just one of the items that I have decided to add to the tank at this time. It's once again, it's by Brightwell. I've already added it to the tank, actually, and be honest with you, with a little tank like mine, 2 days of doing a cap full each day has already got me up to that point where I want to do it. I do notice that every day it does drop back down. I don't really know where it's going, be honest with you, but I have continually added, and I will continually add until it either maintains or gets to a point where it's higher than I want it to be. We'll try it. We'll keep going from there. The next thing here that I am going to be adding to the tank, this is just one of the subscribers on the channel had mentioned that there's a UV sterilizer that you could put in the back of your tank in a little box back there, and this is it. It's kind of a cheap, I don't know if it's cheap or not. It's just a Chinese thing. It comes just like this with a couple suction cups. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to put it in my return water chamber back there and turn it on. So I guess technically now I have a UV sterilizer on the tank. I don't know how effective that is just in an area like that. This is what it comes at. It's not marked, but it's a 7-watt version. So it is the bigger one. It seems to be really bright. It has some specs on it here, written in a different language, so you really don't know what they are. But it does show on the back here. If you take a look at it, it shows for salt water. I know my camera's kind of focusing problem here, but it does show for salt water here, 2 different spots. It's got koi, so it's got the pond function, and then you can see the actual freshwater tank function on the bottom. There's a check mark in all of them. I can only assume, I can't read the language, but I can only assume that means it's valid for all 4. Either way, I do have it currently in the back of the tank. I have it plugged in. I put it in the center compartment where the return water is, because that would be one area that wouldn't, basically with the 2 filters on each side, it's almost like its own enclosed chamber. It is a little bit larger of a chamber probably than what this is calling for. I was going to put it in one of the skinnier chambers. However, I was under the impression that if I did, it would leak into the tank, or the light would leak into the tank, and maybe not cause other problems. I have no idea, but I was kind of excited to see that they had this, so I went with it. It's a pretty simple little unit. Just plug it in. I'm not going to have it plugged in and show you on screen here. Obviously, if it is true UV light, it would not be good for me or you to do that. The next addition that I'm putting into the tank, I took out that big wave maker. I believe it was a Jabo 120. It was just way too much flow for this tank. I had it at its lowest setting. I had to have it turned at a certain angle. Stuff in the tank was just getting blown all over. So I went with this. I did just get one for now. I do have a second one on order. It was kind of back ordered here, I guess. I went with the smallest ones possible because I wanted to be able to throttle them up or down depending on what depending on what flow I decide I need. I'm going to put one probably, I'm thinking towards the top on one side, and then when the other one comes in, I'll put it towards the bottom on the other side. And then it's got the magnet, so this one does have the cord attached to it, so the cord is in the water, unfortunately, instead of on the outside of the tank. But the price reflects that. So you can spend the $300, $400, $500 for the ones that don't. But with this one here being a mere $50 item, we'll see how it works. This will give me a good test to see if this is what I want. It does have a little bit of see that kind of curved rubber there, so you can actually tilt it, to the magnet on there. This whole piece, that magnet and everything, sits inside the tank, and that way it allows you to, turn it, and then here, if you want to see what it's like here, I just put this on here for you to imagine that was a glass. You got the magnet on the other side. That's how it's going to be once it's in the tank. But it does come with a controller, for different speeds. And then it also has a feeding mode. My camera's not cooperating here very good for that part of it to read all that fine print, but I am adding that to the tank. And like I said, I just have the one for right now, but the other one is on its way. I'm expecting it to be here fairly soon. Once that gets here, we'll have that other one in as well. All right, so here's the update on the tank. As you can see, the cyano that was completely surrounding the ZOAs there, it's cleared up quite a lot. That's the power head that I did just put in there, or the wave maker, I guess they call it, from Jabo. You can see the cardinal in the background there, and then one peppermint shrimp over here on the side. But you can take a look here. I'm just pointing out to some areas where there is still a small amount of cyano. I tried to get the lights here so that you could see it, but I don't know, that every time I'd put the white light on, it looked yellow. If I put the blue light on, it looked, this was the color pattern. I figured I could get the closest. I'm not trying to hide it, I guess what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to get it so that you can see exactly where it's at. And if you look around there, you can see it's covering the rocks, but you see those spots, like different areas that are open, like little white spots within the red there. They've all kind of started to open up and break apart. It's kind of breaking down. If you look at the rocks themselves, if you look at the rock in the back, you can, right in the center there, you can see where, that's pretty much my whole rock structure looked like that here not that long ago. Now you can see where the rocks are pretty much uncovered. There's different spots here on the rocks that do still have cyano, but this is all from me not doing anything. I mean, I didn't personally go in and remove this. This is all starting to dissolve on its own. Just pointing out a couple spots here that do show, them are obviously still spots that the cyano is still holding on to, has not released. But for the most part, it has come off the rocks. You can see here the top rock is pretty much, I mean, the snail still has some on it right in the center there, but and a couple little spots on the one end, but the rock is pretty much cleared off. And that all did that all on its own, even since I just put this last power head in there. But if you come over here, you just take that look at that spot. Well, I guess we just went off camera from it, so let's go away from this. So that's a macroalgae that started to grow. Let me know if anybody knows if that's good or bad, because it's still controllable where I could probably remove it, but in a while it might not be. But you can see over here on the right side, you see them bubbles? You see them bubbles in that cyano? The cyano is kind of just lifting off the rock. That's how the whole rock started to dissolve. I've been dosing hydrogen peroxide now for 2 days. This is only a 2-day process so far. I mean, it was literally solid cyano. 2 days later, you can see the majority of the rock is clear. This is the area over here that in the previous video had a little bit of hair algae as well, which has also seemed to disappear on its own. But you can see the rocks themselves, the cyano is starting to dissolve and starting to move away. Even on the sand bed, it's starting to break apart. I tried to leave it undisturbed so I could show you the video here of what's actually happening. I mean, I could have went in and, you know, stirred it all up and whatnot and made it look good for the video, but I'm not trying to hide anything from you. I'm trying to show you what's actually happening. That one coral still has a little bit of cyano on it that I actually do have to go in and blow off. However, you can see in the rocks here where it's just all kind of breaking up, dissolving. The hydrogen peroxide, like I said, I'm using 1 milliliter per 10 gallons of water. So basically, I'm figuring it as only 20 gallons. I'm doing it week. I'm only putting 2 milliliters in. I do it in the morning, then I do it at night. So I'm not putting a lot in there by any means. I did hear where it could harm the health of your shrimp. Well, I have the shrimp in there because I want them to take care of the aptasia with what they're actually doing. Aside from a few large ones that they obviously haven't been able to attack yet, or maybe won't because they're too big, they pretty much cleared out all the little ones in there. So they did a wonderful job on that. I did have the coral band shrimp catch one of them and actually eat it, unfortunately. So I did lose one there, but that's just a quick overview here showing where the tank's at. I'm hoping that this continues this trend, and then, you know, when I do a follow-up video here next week, the red will be gone completely. I mean, time will tell. We'll see. I'm going to continue dosing the nitrates. I'm going to keep the nitrates at the, you know, at that level that we discussed. That spot up there is actually some cyano that broke off the bottom of the floor here since I put the peroxide in and floated to the top. There's also a chunk over here. I've actually caught a few of those chunks out with a net already. They just kind of peel off in a sheet, float to the top. So it's pretty slick the way it's been working. So far, I don't have any foreseeable adverse effects. My fish all seem to be, well, I only have 2 fish in there right now, but both of them seem to be healthy and active. It don't seem like it affects them at all. You can see the peppermint shrimp, or the coral band is trying to catch that peppermint shrimp. Little bugger. Obviously, he thinks it's food now, so they probably won't last long, them peppermint shrimp, but let's hope they're quick. But if you look around the corals, everything seems to be still looking fairly good. And this is with, like I said, this is about 2 days. I've been dosing it at night before I go to bed, 2 milliliters, dosing it 2 milliliters in the morning when I get up. The only thing that I did say here that has been questionable is if you take a look at these zoas, you can see where the zoas, the heads of the zoas actually seem like they got smaller, but the actual stem or the body of the zoa elongated. Now, this all took place since I've started using hydrogen peroxide. They were always, if you look at the past videos, they were always flat, big, and open. They've kind of So this could be a negative thing. It could, I don't know. We'll find out in time. It's like I said, this is what I'm doing on here is not something that I'm really recommending to anybody at this point. I'm just trying it myself because I did read some articles about it. And I have been battling the cyano here now just for, a few weeks now. And it doesn't seem to be, I mean, the nitrates did seem to slow it down a little bit once I got them up there, but it certainly did not eliminate it. So I was looking for other alternatives to do so. And when you see the bubbles forming underneath that cyano and you see it lifting off and floating to the top, it's very promising. That's all I can say. All right, so that was the update. I know there wasn't a lot of crazy things happening. The hydrogen peroxide is something that I read about. Here's the thing with the hydrogen peroxide. One of the reasons I try it is I do also have a pond. Well, I shouldn't say that. I technically got rid of my pond last year, but I did have a pond for like 10 years in the backyard. Every year when it got hot out and I was overfeeding the koi, I would have a green hair algae problem. One of the ways I combated that hair algae problem was with hydrogen peroxide. That said, it always loosened it up. It would get sucked in the filters, hair algae would go away. So anybody that has a pond, I know that's not this saltwater channel related at this moment, keep that in mind. That is a function. You don't want to get carried away with it. Little goes a long way, but it does definitely do the job. When it, there's actually quite a few videos. It seems like there's quite a few videos out in regards to like blue-green algae in freshwater tanks and the use of hydrogen peroxide. However, I was unable to even find one video in regards to the hydrogen peroxide. I did find quite a few articles about people talking about it. I think people are maybe scared to suggest it. Obviously a little bit goes a long way. You could easily maybe destroy a tank. I don't know. And what you found out here in this video, this is just my shot at it, okay? I'm not saying that the amounts I use are completely accurate. I'm not saying that it's good or bad for your tank. This is just the method I'm going to take. One thing I do want to add is I am planning on, once this is all done and settled down, if I actually do get it under control, that is doing another water test just to see what shows up for cyano in the test. See if it actually does disinfect the cyano like they say it does. If any of you have used this or tried this or have any other suggestions in regards to the hydrogen peroxide, hey, let me know, because it's all new territory for me. I just kind of been doing a little research on it, come across this, thought it was something I wanted to try. Again, like, subscribe, comment. Until next time,